Hey, what's going on, guys? Rick from Only Football here, bringing you another episode. We're going to start it off with NFL Week 17 predictions. Then we're going to move on to Perfect Gift, then Blessed, Text, or Stress. And we're going to finish it off with some playoff scenarios. So stay tuned. Me and Kyle bring you a great episode. Let's go. No, did you just drink a candle?
I got fired up. You know how I get.
Drink a candle. That intro gets him so hyped.
It's going to be something weird every time. That's the conclusion. I'm always going to be doing something weird when we come back. But
I love it.
Welcome to the Only Football Week 17 editions. I'm Kyle, and that's Rick.
Rick. That's Kyle.
And no. And we're going to be going through all of our games. We're going to talk about the ones we disagree on, which will probably be about 50%, basing that off of normal statistics. So I would say let's start with our Thursday night game. But if you guys were just with us, you know what happened. The Cowboys won because the Cowboys won despite cowboying. And that's how bad Tennessee is.
That's true.
So do you want to just skip that one?
I mean, we could. We both had the Cowboys. And if you caught our live stream, it was in the first quarter that Kyle and I were like, yes, we're both taking the Cowboys. So that's a win for us, for the record's sake. So we both took the Cowboys. And like Kyle said, there's really not much to talk about on this one. The Titans looked rough. I mean, they had Dobbs, their third stringer, a guy who's been in the league for 6 years, bounced around from like 6 teams too. Start at quarterback, and I mean, it didn't look good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good for the Titans. They lost. The Dallas Cowboys, though, I will say, only won by 14 points, like you said, and 14 points is 14 points, but you would have thought that they would have kind of blown them out a little bit more, Kyle.
Yeah, I know. We were talking about a possible 24-0 halftime score, and then the Cowboys 3 turnovers in the first half. They let the Titans hang around. Not an impressive win, but Cowboys do what needs to be done. And Titans, this is just kind of an exclamation mark on why I think Jacksonville will be representing the AFC South moving forward into next week. So we'll talk about that a little bit later with the clinching scenarios, but let's move on. So the Cardinals at Atlanta. Arizona has lost 5 straight games, and Atlanta has lost 4 straight games. But despite them both losing a lot of games in a row, they haven't lost the same way at all. Atlanta has been difficult to stop on the ground, and they keep games close, and they're losing by an average of 5 points, while Arizona's lost by an average of 11 points, and 5 of their last 11 losses have been by double digits. Because of that, I'm expecting Atlanta to get the win just based on playing closer games. Even though they're losing, you got to look at that, right?
Yep. No, and I don't know. I think this is going to actually be our first disagreement here.
No, we just started.
It's you pissed me off with the candle thing.
Let it go.
I think I'm taking the Cardinals. Now, I agree with what you said. I like the Falcons. They kind of just stick around, but both losers of what was it, 4 in a row? You said.
Atlanta 4 and Arizona
Atlanta's
5.
4. Yeah, okay, Cardinals 5. They both look bad. Now, the one thing I will say, right, we kind of agreed last week when we were talking about the Pittsburgh game that they were going to do this for the their Hall of Fame.
Going with this,
they passed away. JJ Watt just announced his retirement. This is the last 2 games he's going to play in the NFL. He's going to make this. He's going to make this a good game. The defense is gonna step it up for him. I think the team in general is gonna step it up for him in this game against the Falcons. Yes, they're in Atlanta, so you obviously want to give, off the bat, you want to give it to the Falcons because they're at home. And these are two really bad teams. I mean, the quarterback situation's meh. Kyler is still out. So it's not something that you kind of just look forward to. Like, this isn't a game anybody's going to be watching, really, unless you're a Cardinals or Falcons fan. But I think with the JJ thing, he's retiring. He's going to be last few games in the NFL. They're going to step it up for him. I think they go into Atlanta, take the game against the Falcons. And like I said, it's Colt McCoy starting for the Cardinals, but I still think they can beat Mariota and the Falcons.
I mean, I disagree, but that's what we do this for, right? I get the we're going to do this for JJ Watt, but as you've seen if you've been watching Cardinals in the last 2 weeks, and I have, because they were, I believe, on prime time at some point last week and the week before they played the Broncos. So I've had a pretty close eye, and I've been watching Hard Knocks. I mean, I'm as deeply involved with the Cardinals as possible. And I've seen JJ Watt have just outstanding games the last 2 weeks. He had, I think, 2 sacks in the first half, 3 sacks maybe, and at the Broncos game. He had 6 tackles for a loss last week. So, and they're still not winning. I think they can do both things. Can be true that JJ Watt is going to be playing at an incredible level, trying to leave with it all left out on the field. And I also do believe still that it may not be enough to win the game, but we'll see what happens.
What about this Falcons team is
they're just playing better football than the Cardinals. That's literally, I'm just going off that. I'm they're playing closer games and they're able to run the ball. There's something you can point to with Atlanta and say they do this well. You can't point to the Cardinals and say they do anything well. Yeah. So, and that is why I think Arizona and Tennessee right now are the worst teams in the NFL, even worse than Houston.
Yeah. So, okay. I like that.
I'm just kind of riding with Atlanta here. And the game is in Arizona. So you do have that home field. Wait, no, is it in Atlanta? It's in Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta.
I wrote it wrong. Yeah, because he just played his last home game last week of his career. So that should be a good one. Next up, we got the Detroit Lions at Chicago Bears. The Lions defense
Bears at Lions.
Bears at Lions. I write them all backwards? Damn. The Bears at Lions. So last week, the Lions defense was torn apart into shreds on the ground game by Carolina last week. And remember, the last time the Bears played Detroit in November, the Bears, I believe, what did they give up? I think I wrote it here, 258 yards on the ground against Detroit. So, I mean, no. Detroit gave up 258 on the ground, I think, to the Lions. So the Bears were able to run the ball against the Lions. So after giving up a lot to the Panthers, we've seen Detroit go into spans of weeks where they can't stop the ground game to save their life. I still think the game in Detroit, this is a totally different Lions team when they're playing at home. In turf, in a dome, they play entirely different. Just look at the numbers. They're coming back home, playoff hopes, atmosphere is going to be there. I'm going to take the Lions in this one.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I'm a Bears fan. I love them. But there's no way the Lions lose this one. And you mentioned how much of the rushing yards the Lions give up, right? The Bears and Justin Fields are probably the best rushing team. I think they're still number one as far as rushing teams go in the NFL. I think they're still up there. And a lot of that is credit to what Justin Fields has been able to do. Bears defense is no good. The Lions offense is really good, especially as of recently, especially on this, what are they, 7-2 in the last 9 games? They've just been playing outstanding on their offense. Jared Goff, I think you mentioned it during either this stream or 1 or 2 streams ago. You're he has to really, or I'm sorry, I think you mentioned it on Monday's episode where you're he has to basically play not perfect, or I'm sorry, he can still play perfect and the Lions can still like lose these games. Like he gave up, I think he had one turnover, you said, in like so many games. And it's like that's
Yeah.
kind of that's one of the reasons that they lost. Like that, like what? Like that's insane, right? So I think the Bears are going to rush all over the Lions. I don't think it's going to be enough to beat them. I think this is another high scoring game, though, like they had in November. I think there's going to be like a 30 something game at the end of it. But the Lions come out on top and their playoff hopes stay alive for that week 18 matchup. So we'll see. But I'm taking Lions as well.
Yeah, definitely. If the Lions win, it definitely sets up for a really interesting Green Bay Detroit game. So I see what you mean. And Jared Goff gave up. I think he fumbled a snap or he got strip sacked, something like that, and that was his first turnover since Thanksgiving. So it was a pretty incredible streak that they were on. I'm expecting Detroit, just like you, to get back into that regular form. They need their defense to go back to the top 15 because you saw, like you mentioned, when they were 31st and 32nd, when they were way down, they were losing games 45-48. And then that defense came up to 15 and they went on that win streak. And then you saw them kind of go back to their old self last week. So this is a really important game for them to dust the chalk off the pants and get back into that playoff hunt and prove to themselves that they are this Lions. When you have the lowest of the lows that they've had and experienced the mountain peak, you got to remember who you are. And this is going to be a defining game that will ultimately be the outcome of the season for Detroit. They lose this game, their season will be remembered as at one point they actually got hot and had a chance. If they win this game, it's all still possible. So big circle around this game. We'll be definitely talking and probably having that game going. Let's move on to, I know you know this. I know you know that Aaron Rodgers is the owner of the Chicago Bears. And, I can say that because Patrick Mahomes is also the owner of the Denver Broncos. He's won 12 straight. But here's one you probably don't know. Did you know that the Texans own the Jacksonville Jaguars and they've won 9 straight matches against?
I heard that a couple of weeks ago. And honestly, I was like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that that's true. And that was I think that's been their only other win of the season, right? Was against the Jags.
Yeah. Isn't this like incredibly hard to believe? 9 in a row.
It's insane.
I mean,
it's insane.
That means like the Texans have only won, their last 9 games against Jacksonville, or because I think they might only have 9 wins in the last like 4 years, whatever. This is an incredible stat that is kind of just mind bending to think about. But I'm really looking for. This has been a season of ending streaks. That's the way the NFL Network put it. And I agree with that. And I think Jacksonville ends the streak. And another streak that ends is the time that Jacksonville has missed the postseason. I believe their last postseason push was, I think, 2008 with David Garrard and Maurice Jones-Drew.
No. They went to the playoffs with Blake Bortles in like 2017.
Oh, yeah. I can't forget about that with Jalen Ramsey and that defense 2018.
Yep.
Yeah, but, when you only go to the playoff one time and you have 4 years on both sides, it is easy to forget about that. But Jacksonville looking to end the streak against Texans, but more importantly, end the streak. But ultimately, right, this is another game. It doesn't matter, right, what the outcome is because it's all going to come down to Jacksonville at Tennessee next week. But I'm still looking for Jacksonville to get this win. Every single time Trevor Lawrence gets out on that field, whether it's for a playoff game or not, he has a chance to get better as an NFL quarterback. There's a chance for him to learn something new every week. I'm looking for Jacksonville to capitalize on the opportunities for Trevor Lawrence going into these final 2 weeks. And I'm hoping that we can see Jacksonville make the postseason here because I think it's good for football. What do you think?
I agree. I think the Jags are finally going to, like you said, break that streak of the Texans just of getting beaten by the Texans. This is the year for it. I mean, yes, they won their first. They won that game. The Texans won that game, their only game against the Jags, their only other win. But I think the Jags and, like you said, Trevor Lawrence and this team is performing a lot better late with Doug Peterson at the helm, right? So I think they're going to see what happened Thursday Night Football with Tennessee, right? Getting beat by the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to win against the Texans, and then they're going to go into Tennessee next week. I believe it's in Tennessee, or is it in Jacksonville?
I would have to look at it.
Okay, we'll look that up in a bit.
Yeah. Right now.
Yeah, we'll look at it. But if they go, I think they're going to go into that game next week and absolutely beat them. Okay, they're going to be at home, man. A Week 18 division, clinching game. I think they'll definitely take that for sure. And it all starts this week against the Texans. They beat the Texans. They go into it hot next week at home. They're going to get the dub, man. And the Texans, I mean, as much as I'm sure Lovie Smith wants to win games and do this and do that, they're tanking for the first round pick. They're going to get a quarterback because what's his name isn't really working out. David Mills isn't working out in his second year. And they obviously lost on Deshaun Watson. Not really lost, more of a, got rid of him. But you know what I mean? Like they're tanking. They want that first round pick. I don't think they want to really win any more games. And they're just not good. Well, their streak is going to end against the Jaguars, and they've done really good against the Jaguars, but that was with Deshaun Watson. We also got to think about that, right? Like that streak started with Deshaun Watson. So I'm going to give it to the Jags.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, and remind me when the Bronco game comes up for you, because I have them as my favorite team. So it jumps it all the way to the top. It is the next game. Okay. So we're about to move on to that, but I just want, because we both agreed, I guess if we had a third person, there could be devil's advocate here, because you got to remember that Texans, they almost beat the Chiefs, and then they almost beat Dallas, and then they played an opponent last week.
They beat the Titans.
Yeah, we're the Titans, and they beat the Titans. This is a Texans team that is not going, like, with a streak like this is not going to be just, a stroll in the park. Everyone's really high on Jacksonville right now because they're playing good football all around. The defense is really stepping up. But to think that they're going to be able to snap a streak like this, having a average game, I think they're going to have to play above average to beat this Texans team that, if anything, just want to remind the Jaguars that it's 10 in a row, not 9. You know what I'm saying? So I really think, we see 2 wins and we're like, yeah, Texans lose. I expect this game to be closer than we may think.
I think so too. It'll be a close game, and it's a division game, right? So I mean, it's and the Texans go into this knowing we got to keep the streak alive, at least for pride sense. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I just think the Jags are gonna realize, hey, we have a really good shot at winning the division and going into that division matchup next week with a win over the Texans looks a lot better than a loss, right? So exactly. I think they're gonna get that win here in Houston.
It's all business for Trevor Lawrence. So let's jump on a flight and go to Arrowhead, where what'd you say?
Business.
Oh, Bitness. Yeah, my bad. Let's who it's all business for is Patrick Mahomes, who has beaten the Broncos either 12 or 13. I'm not going to continue counting until it snaps. So the fact of the matter is Patrick Mahomes has never lost to the Denver Broncos. That is an insane thing to think about as a divisional game that happens year after year after year. Yep. It's never happened. Well, they're going to be at home, and they are still, they could easily get a first round bye. If they win out and Buffalo loses, that's it. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to get to the Buffalo game. It's not going to be easy, but Kansas City, obviously knowing what they got to do, they got to take care of business, because they know Arrowhead is a tough place to play. Home field advantage in places like Arrowhead and Lambeau, and there's just a couple places where it really matters. It's like it may even be Seattle. It's more than 3 points, and I think Kansas City is going to play a really good football team against a Broncos team that doesn't have a coach. The defense fell apart last week. They're just depleted by injuries, but I do think the entire football world is scratching their head about the Nathaniel Hackett era in Denver after the Broncos go out and get their first win against the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead without Nathaniel Hackett. Broncos win 30-33.
What? No way. You're insane. They put 33 on the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, I get it. The Chiefs defense, not a defense you think about when you think of a playoff defense. I 100% understand. They're not great. They do things though late in games where you're like, wow, this defense is clutch. They'll, later into the games, they'll be like, wow, that sack was big. That interception was big. That fourth down stop was huge. And that's what the Chiefs defense does. On paper, yes, they're probably middle of the pack, lower of the pack type of defense, right? And I'm sure you've got the numbers for it too, but there's no way a head coachless Broncos team, interim head coach Broncos team goes into Arrowhead and beats the Giants. I'm taking the Chiefs, man. I'm taking the Chiefs to beat the Broncos. All the things that have gone wrong. I don't think this is a Jeff Saturday type of moment where Saturday went in and won his first game as a head coach. I think this is very much we know the Broncos are bad this year. We know the Chiefs are really good this year. Chiefs are going to win, man. It's something that, again, we talked about the Houston Texans knowing what kind of streak they got. Patrick Mahomes knows exactly what's at stake. It's his streak. It's also a bye. You know what I mean?
They also went to overtime with the Texans.
You're right. They did for sure.
Well, they ended up with a win. They play way different at home. They are an entirely different team at home. And that's
you said, that's one of the big factors in games like this. So that's why I'm going with the Chiefs, man. I look, I'm wearing the Broncos gear because you gave it to me, right? Like this was my gift. So huge. I'm repping the set right now with the Broncos.
But I see you're hiding the Broncos. I can't see this part.
Where?
There it is.
Yeah,
there it is.
It was folded.
I was like, dude, you made it invisible.
I actually took it off thread by thread.
I ironed it off. Just held the iron there.
But yes, I'm taking the Chiefs, man. It's nothing personal. I've got the gear on, but the Chiefs are a better football team, and I don't think the Broncos going into Arrowhead can do anything. I will give a lot of credit to this defense. This defense is going to put up a big fight against this team, and I just don't think it's going to be enough.
Surtain get a pick this week?
Surtain. I don't know if Surtain's getting a pick. He's getting a fumble recovery, though.
Ooh, okay. Fumble recovery for a cornerback. I would say that's a pretty bold pick. I love it. Well, I see what you're saying.
He's gonna punch it out.
I mean, I'm literally delusional right now. So, don't even listen to this take. If you just join the podcast right now, by the way, I still want you to subscribe and like and share, but you have to realize that this is not what you're going to get for every game. I'm a Broncos fan. I'm a homer. And you're probably imagine someone tuning in for the first time in the middle of me going, Broncos win 33-31. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Yeah. In Arrowhead.
Okay, well, unsubscribing to this shit.
Yeah. So let's move on to some more realistic Kyle and Rick. We got the Dolphins at Patriots. Now, the Dolphins I actually wrote, I love one of my favorite things about doing this and making these videos is that you get a chance to do some sports journaling. So this is what I wrote. I wrote, Miami clinches their playoff berth with a win and a Jets loss. Miami will travel to New England in hopes to achieve a win they're desperate for. At midseason, the Dolphins had realistic expectations to win their division, but after 4 straight losses to the 49ers, Chargers, Bills, and Packers, the Dolphins are still in the driver's seat, but a loss to New England would result in the biggest choke job of 2022. They're going in with Teddy Bridgewater. They're going into New England with Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy is a serviceable backup. He's experienced, but the fact that I'm taking the Patriots.
You're taking the Patriots.
I got to believe that, Gillette Stadium this is what Bill Belichick does. He squeaks in to the playoffs he's a little somehow they just do just enough with Mac Jones has 79 yards and they win. It's I know. I don't know. It feels like a Patriots win. It feels like it lined up for a Patriots W. Do you agree?
Mac Jones is going to go 17 for 26 for 180 yards.
Yeah.
1 touchdown, 1 interception. and they're still going to lose to the Dolphins because I'm taking the Dolphins to take the dub.
Wow. No, I mean, not wow. That just, you set that up great.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. With even with that what you said, right? Like even with Teddy Bridgewater coming in, look, I love Bill Belichick, and you're right. This is what he would do right now. He would sneak into the playoffs. He would get in there and be like, see, I'm Bill Belichick. I'm going to get in the playoffs. We got into it last year with Mac Jones. We're going to do it again this year. Teddy Bridgewater and Mac Jones, I don't see a difference between the two right now. I really don't see a difference between the two. I think either way, you're going to have a very subpar game with them at quarterback. But I think that the Dolphins with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, regardless who's at quarterback, I think are going to have better games than the Patriots offense in general. Ramondre Stevenson is probably going to have a good game against the Dolphins because I think they have a weaker run defense, if I'm not mistaken. But I think the Dolphins know what's at stake here. They know that they started off the season hot. They know that their guy Tua is literally putting his body at risk to get to where they were at the season, right? To get into the playoffs, this and that. They were challenging the Bills there for a second, right? So I think Mike McDaniel knows what's at stake here. This whole Dolphins team knows what's at stake here. They didn't get what's his name? The defensive guy they got from the Broncos.
Bradley Chubb,
just to be like, yeah, we're not going to make the playoffs. I think they know what's at stake here. They know that they got to grind this win out with Teddy Bridgewater quarterback. And that's exactly what they're going to do. There's going to be like a 2017 game, but it's going to go in favor of the Dolphins for me.
Yeah. And just to be clear, I still have the Dolphins making the postseason because even though a Patriots win would tie the records at 8-7 or 8-8 apiece, next week, the Patriots have to play Buffalo. And I got Buffalo winning that game while Miami just plays the Jets, which is definitely a lesser opponent. So, I mean, but if the Bills aren't playing anybody in that Week 18 game and they're resting everybody, there is an opportunity there that the Patriots – this is a huge game. Yeah, this is a huge game because Week 18 is really hard to judge. Who's playing starters? Who's not? Who's going to – so you just, this is it. If you want to get in the playoffs, you have to win this game, and it'll be a good one. The next game is a team that is going to probably make the playoffs that I don't want to. That is the Giants playing at home against the Colts. I'm not a hater on the Giants. It just doesn't, to me, seem like a fun playoff game. Like, I would rather see the Packers play the Vikings than Giants-Vikings, even though it was a pretty good game last week with the Giants. They played Minnesota tough. Minnesota has played a lot of close games. We'll talk about them later, but I like the Giants' ability to come back and stay in that football game. And I think they had a 2-point conversion. They showed a lot of resilience, and that is going to be what they're going to need into the postseason to try to even win a single game. But they're playing the Colts, and as far as the Colts, we watched the game on Monday night. The Colts, they went with Nick Foles. Yeah, that's like their third different quarterback, and it's hard to believe that any one of those quarterbacks could have played worse than Nick Foles. Nick Foles looked like very bad, very bad. I mean, his decision making was bad. His balls were bad. The offensive line is atrocious. I mean, I think they had 6 sacks given up. There was nothing good about the Colts game. So I got the Giants winning, and I got pretty much 30 teams beating the Colts if they were to play the Colts. Like, there's only 2 teams that maybe would lose, and it's the Giants aren't on that list.
No, and I agree. The Giants making the postseason is boring. But you do have to give him credit. First year head coach in Dable, basically Jones and Saquon Barkley came back this year and had way better seasons than they have had, right? Outside of Saquon's rookie year, this is his best year. And I think it's his 3rd year in the NFL. So really just one bad year so far in his NFL career. Is it his 4th?
But he was hurt. He was hurt for a whole year.
That's what I mean. Like he was hurt 1 year, and like out of his whole career, that was the only bad year, but that was because he was hurt. Yeah. Oh no, it was 2 years. I'm pretty sure. No, I don't know.
Look it up.
Either way,
I'll look it up.
Yeah. either way, you know, the Giants, like you said, it's going to be boring for the playoffs, but the Giants are going to beat the Colts, man. It's just the Colts have no answer at quarterback. They have Jonathan Taylor out for the rest of the year. Their defense, the only good thing is it his 5th year? Okay, so he's had a couple bad years then in between. So Saquon Barkley has had a resurrected season pretty much this year. And Daniel Jones has been doing a lot with his legs, not really as a quarterback per se, right? With the arm and with the passing yards and whatnot, but they're just going to beat them. They're going to beat the Colts. Jeff Saturday is definitely a head coach. That is a fact. He is definitely an NFL head coach. He's not good. What is he, 1-4 so far in his coaching career, something like that?
I mean, he whether he's good or not, we wouldn't be able to tell at this point. I mean, he came into a really shitty situation. To be
absolutely, and that's just the fact that he's got 3 different quarterbacks to deal with, right? Like when he came into it, Ellinger was the starter, and then he's like, why isn't Matt Ryan, a former MVP, former Super Bowl quarterback, the starter? Right now he's got Nick Foles because Matt Ryan isn't good enough. He, like you said, he came into a shitty situation, but he also doesn't have the experience whatsoever to be an NFL coach. But you know, whatever, they wanted to go with him is what it is. I'm not an NFL owner. That's what happens. But I think the Giants are going to win this game against the Colts. I think it's going to be an easy win. I think it's going to be like a 20-10, 24-10 Giants win. It should, in my opinion, I think it should be something like that. Saquon is going to run all over them. Stephon Gilmore is probably the only thing on that Colts defense outside of like Buckner and a couple of the guys there that is any good. So Giants are going to win. Really simple as that. I do think
this is another like prime example of what have you done for me lately? Because you think about the second half of the Thanksgiving game and they give up that huge monster lead, 33 points. And then they go on to have, some bad performances, but they also beat the Raiders in Las Vegas. They almost beat Philly. It came down to like 20 seconds left and a last touchdown. Yeah. And, and then you think they did go up 33-0. I mean, that also counts. As bad as they played, it counts that you go up that much. So I really do think the Colts are really tricky because they are no doubt bad, right? That is not mistakable, but we have seen them play competitive even against the Cowboys in the first half. They just aren't finishing games when they start them tough.
Yeah.
And, I think it's easy to pick the Giants, but it's also easy to forget the small amount of success that we have seen, the flashes, the glimpses of, Colts playing like, oh, there they are. And then before you come back from the bathroom, they're gone again. Right.
So yeah.
It's just.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. You said it all. I don't even want to say anything else, but I do want to get real quick here to the comments right before we move on. Steve, is Kyler out? Yep. We mentioned that he is out. You had wrote that before we'd even gone over the game, but yes, Kyler is out. Tyler, what's up, man? How you doing? Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for being in the comments. Appreciate it. Cheers to Tyler. And then we got Robert, as a Bears fan would say, I don't ever want to see the Packers in the playoff ever again. I'm going to cheers that as a Bears fan. So I'm going to cheers that as a Bears fan. Kyle, obviously not going to. But yeah. All right. We can move on to the next game, Kyle. I just wanted to get to the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. And welcome everybody. Thanks for listening. Our next game is Saints at Eagles. The Saints, 6-9. That's a good record to have, right?
Oh, nice.
And then you got the Eagles, a win here, their first seed. It's locked up. It's a done deal. Gardner Minshew, Jalen Hurts. I don't think it matters. This is a talented Eagles team. I have them winning at home for the home crowd. And the home crowd will also know with that win that they will continue being at home. And the journey to the Super Bowl in the NFC will go through Philadelphia. And that was the boldest, best prediction I've ever made in my football commentating career. I'm proud of it. And the Eagles don't prove me wrong. Eagles win in big fashion against the Saints.
Love it. Yeah, I agree. They're at Philly. Jalen Hurts has returned to practice. I don't know what his game status is right now, but we saw what Gardner Minshew did with the Cowboys last week, right? He put up 34 points. The only reason they lost is because of what, two interceptions or so many points off turnovers. The Cowboys won, right? So we saw what the Eagles could do with Gardner Minshew. Obviously, we've seen all season what they can do with Jalen Hurts. I think either whether one or the other plays, I think they win this game against the Saints. The Saints are somehow still in the hunt, but after this week, I think they're pretty much mathematically out of the playoffs. The Saints don't have enough to beat the Eagles at all. Like you said, the Eagles are the number one team in the NFC. It's not really a question. And like you said, I think the path to the Super Bowl on the NFC side is running through Philly 100%. I don't really see any other path other than through Philly. But yeah, I've got the Eagles. I got the Eagles beating the Saints at home 100%.
That's what was so funny about that stat thing that came up for the Cowboys' path to get into the first seed. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was like they
got to lose, they got to win, they got to lose. Yeah,
it was like, all right, calm down.
Yeah,
which is funny because if Philly were to lose and Minnesota loses to Green Bay, it's like all of a sudden it's like, hey, what's going on here? We come back next week and we're like, yeah, so the Cowboys are your first seed. Yeah, I don't see it happening, but this is a playoff game, no doubt about it.
How bad would we look?
We would look just fine. The whole world would be shook.
Yeah, they would be.
This is a playoff game, not kinda, not sorta. This is our first playoff game, Week 17, Panthers at Bucks. The winner of this game will make it because if the Bucks win, they will be so far ahead that the Panthers can't come back. And if the Panthers win, they will tie the Bucks, but they will also have the tiebreaker over the Bucks. Panthers control their own destiny. They have to win this game. Bucks win this game, it's over. Panthers have been really impressive on the ground lately. DJ Moore has really benefited from the return of USC quarterback Sam Darnold. I like what the Panthers are doing, and I always have said, look, I'm not going to rule out Tom Brady when it comes to playoff time. I just won't do it. You're going to have to you're going to have to kill me because the Tom Brady continues to prove me wrong week after week. Even when he wins, I mean, it's just disgusting. I'm like, oh my God. I think it was Arizona they barely beat. I mean, it was like, wow. I mean, you know how I feel about Arizona. This is a really, really just kind of just crappy Bucs team. But you're giving me Tom Brady in a playoff game. I have no reason to say this, but give me the Bucs at home.
Really? All right. I like you said at the beginning of the show, we're going to pretty much go 50-50 on what we agree and disagree on. I'm going with the Panthers, man. I almost want to say they almost whooped. They destroyed the Lions last week, I feel like. And the score is closer than what it appears to be. I think they won by like 11 or something like that.
It was a blowout.
Oh yeah, 37-23, man. That's 17 points. That's 3 scores. That was just an ass kicking, man. Going against the Bucs in Tampa after the Bucs have put on a measly, just garbage season with a quarterback who's Tom Brady. I think the Panthers are gonna go into Tampa and take this win. Like you said, even with the ground game, even with the fact that they have Darnold starting, right? Darnold's looked good these last couple of weeks. As of recently, he's looked pretty damn good. Connecting with DJ Moore, getting the ball and then the ground attack, and then their defense is up there. I get the Tom Brady talk. I 100% get it. And Robert's even in the chat too, right? Never count out Brady. He is the GOAT. But I don't, this Bucs team is just bad, man. This is a bad Bucs team. And I get it. Tom Brady gets in the playoffs. You never know. I just can't. I think I know this year. I think I know. And the Bucs are not good. And the Bucs are going to lose to the Panthers week 17. And the Panthers are going to win out week 18. And the Panthers are going to be the NFC South champions by the end of this season.
Yeah, I think it really depends on Tom Brady, if he's already kind of checked out emotionally of this season because he's already thinking about maybe where he's going to play next year, he's like,
Yeah.
okay, we'll chalk this one up to just whatever. This isn't going to be my last year. I can see the Panthers winning, but if he goes out there and he is, just vintage Tom Brady, just willing his team to victory, they're at home. The cannons are going to be going off. I mean, we've seen them go up 17-0 against the Bengals. We've seen them do that. Was only 2 weeks ago, right? And we've seen the glimpses, just like we talked about the Colts, right? It's not like some of these teams, I mean, it's the NFL, right? Even the bad teams sometimes have moments that you're like, oh, they're capable of that. And that's the concern with the Panthers is Detroit was probably the hottest team in the NFC, arguably. I mean, when they were on that huge streak, 6 wins in the last 7.
Yep.
And then the Panthers probably went into that locker room after the game, and the coach stood up and probably said, just so you know, this is what you're capable of. This is what you're capable. And when you have a game like that, and it changes the way you think about yourself as a team, that could be a dangerous thing moving forward. But Bucks at home, I respect your Panthers pick. I definitely am not confident in the Bucks pick, but I have to stick with it. Tom Brady's Tom Brady. We'll move on to the Browns at Commanders. Commanders at home trying to steal a playoff game with Tyler Heineke. Chase Young has returned to the lineup. Now, we like all of the professional bettors last week were like thinking the San Francisco game's actually going to be close. We got more film on Brock Purdy. It's not going to be a fluke. And the Commanders go there and they get completely annihilated, and the 49ers almost score 40 points. It's just another thing that I've been saying about the Giants and Commanders. I don't want to see them in the playoffs. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs. And I have the Browns winning.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Another one. Another disagreement here. I think I've got the Commanders. And I want to go with the Browns because the Commanders are going with Wentz. They're starting Wentz. They're not starting Heineke. I don't know what they see in Wentz. I think it's mostly like, hey, we're paying him $10 million or whatever it is versus Heineke's $100,000. So that's probably why they got Wentz going.
I'll take 100 G's.
Yeah, I'll do it to be on the Commanders. Absolutely, I could probably do it on the Texans.
I'll buy Commanders t-shirts, everything. I'll be the biggest.
I'll go the full 9. Let's go. But the Browns are not good either, man. The Commanders at least are like they got something to play for here. They got possible playoffs. They've got Scary Terry on their side. They've got Brian Robinson. They've got I was gonna say Taylor Heineke, but not he'll be on the sidelines cheering them on. Wentz is coming back. I just don't know what it is. And Wentz was literally swaying me for the Browns, but then I also thought the Browns have not been able to get anything going these last few weeks. What makes me think they're going to get it going against a really good Commanders defense? Exactly, right? Like Deshaun Watson, his season's washed. He's not going to put in a performance where you're going to be like, wow, that was amazing. So there's no reason to think he's going to do that against the Commanders. The only saving grace for the Browns, I think, at this point is Chubb, and they have barely gotten him going the last few weeks. I should know. I have him on my fantasy squad. So I'm taking the Commanders to win, and this is mostly on the defense. It's not really on the offense. It is mostly on the defense for the Commanders that I'm taking them in because they're going to make Deshaun Watson just continue to just be bad this year like he has been. So, yeah, I'm taking the Commanders. They still have a chance to make it depending on what happens with that Giants-Colts game, but they still have a chance. So I'm taking the Commanders, man.
That's fair, and it's funny too because the Commanders and the Giants, you could have the whole division in the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
if that happened.
Yeah,
never had that happen before.
At one point, it did look like that was going to be the case.
I think that is right now. I think the Commanders and Giants, if the season ended today,
it's insane.
The NFC least has emerged to having every effing team in the playoffs.
It was the NFC beast. I told you.
You did. Shout out to Rick. All right. So our next match, the San Francisco 49ers at the Las Vegas Raiders. The 49ers, I don't know if you watched our power ranking on Monday, the 49ers have emerged as the best team in the NFL, in my opinion. They have an outstanding defense with the defensive player of the year, Nick Bosa, playing at an extremely high level. It was really close with Micah Parsons. I think he sealed the deal with his incredible performance against the Commanders involving strip sacks and fumble recoveries and sacks and all that other stuff. The 49ers defense is extremely well. And I saw Philly give up 40 points, right? That has nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. They did have, a lot of turnovers, and a lot of them were on the wrong side of the 50. But the fact of the matter is the 49ers have a better defense, and they didn't even have Debo. You know what I mean? And they're scoring 40 points. This is a team that you do not want to play right now. There's absolutely no reason for me to believe that the 49ers aren't going to beat the Raiders by more than 17.
Yeah. And the fact that Derek Carr is basically taking a leave of absence from the Raiders because they want to go with Stidham. Jarrett Stidham is their starting quarterback now. So you've got all that drama there. They've still got Josh McDaniels as the head coach. So you've got all that drama there. And, just his crappiness at being a coach. The 49ers, like you said, they should be able to beat the Raiders by 3 scores, although we've seen crazier things happen, but I don't think that this week is going to be one of those things. Well, the only thing I will ask you, and obviously I've got the 49ers to take this, so we agree on the 49ers. Do you think Brock Purdy starts for the 49ers? Or I'm sorry, is Jimmy or Trey Lance coming back at all for the playoffs?
No, Trey Lance blew his knee out.
Oh, okay, so he's done.
No, he was done for the season.
What about Jimmy G?
Jimmy G?
Sorry, Johnny G.
Jimmy, he broke his foot. He's done.
He's done. So it's Brock Purdy or nothing, really.
This is the Brock Purdy show.
Okay, cool.
Moving forward, and even if those guys were healthy, it wouldn't switch. Not at this point.
So then I'll ask you, how do you think Brock Purdy will do in the playoffs?
I mean, I feel like he's playing with house money and it's working. So I think he'll do fine. I think he's look, I'm the last pick in the last round. I'm the very, I was literally the backup to the backup. I was never supposed to play, and I'm playing better than all of the guys that were in front of me because he's playing with house money. And we said it a million times. He's not playing to not lose. He's playing to win. I saw a play where he was spinning around and juking and hurtling. He was doing all this stuff. And I was like, oh, Purdy's loose.
Yeah.
He's actually he's you know what? I'm just it just seems like the best way I can compare this is, do you remember Jeremy Lin?
Oh yeah. With the Lakers.
He's having his Jeremy Lin run right now.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
When you have house money and you got nothing to lose, you're a dangerous player. I mean, at some point I'm expecting him to come back down to earth, but it's not happening week after week after week. And eventually you just feel kind of dumb for thinking it. I think he could go deep into the playoff. He could win the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah. I have no reason not to believe that. Brock Purdy might be the Super Bowl MVP.
There's no way you think that.
If Brock Purdy wins the Super Bowl MVP, there'll be so many documentaries made about this.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Why not? Tell me why they can't.
You're right. And that's because the only reason I can think of is the NFC is going through Philly. We've said that. That's the only thing I can think of. I think Philly, if let's say in a perfect world, right? We have the 2 best teams in the NFC, 49ers and the Eagles, go against each other in the NFC Championship.
It's been that way for the last 4 years. 1 and 2 had been meeting in the conference.
Okay. So if that happens this year, right? Because really anything can happen now in the NFL. I think the experience from the Eagles will outmatch plus the talent. You have experience and talent in Philly. That's definitely gonna beat the talent that you have in San Francisco. They have experience, right? 100%. But Brock Purdy at quarterback, NFC Championship game, I don't know, man. Like you said, he's playing loose. I get that, but I feel like it's a different animal when you get to like an NFC Championship game, and Jalen Hurts is someone who has already been playing in the NFL, has already been to the playoffs, has a team that is ready, is hungry for a Super Bowl appearance. I think they beat the 49ers in that. And that's the only thing I could really see stopping the 49ers and Brock Purdy. I think they'll get past the first round. It's anything after that Brock Purdy and the 49ers will struggle with. But I as of right now, 49ers are definitely in the playoffs. They're going to destroy the Raiders, so I don't want to get too far ahead. But yeah, that's where I got them at right now. And yeah,
my one thing to keep in mind is that the Eagles haven't played a top 5 defense this year. They've, out of every team they played, they have not played the 49ers, the Bills, the Ravens, or the Jets, or the Patriots. Those are the top 5 defenses right now. So now they go from not playing a top 5 to playing the best defense in the NFL. This is really, it's territory that Philly hasn't found themselves in yet. So we don't know how they're going to respond. While we have seen the 49ers play elite offenses like Kansas City, and they lost that game, but CMC just got acquired. It seems like that was their last loss since, they got CMC barely played. I think he played like 20% of the game because he got there like Thursday and the game was Sunday. Now that CMC is like really involved, they haven't lost the game since. If the 49ers played the Chiefs again, I'd probably take and they didn't have Brock Purdy, which is crazy to say.
Yeah.
So,
but Steve, real quick, Steve is in the comments. They're saying that Garoppolo may be able to return for the playoffs.
They shouldn't.
And then, do you think they should let him play? If so, no, absolutely not. I don't think so either. I think you keep him as a very, very good backup. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why would you? Like, that is literally the definition of if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Hey, we're going to remove the guy averaging 38 points a game. He scored 56 points in his first 2 starts. He scores 38 almost every time I look at the score. Yep. And you're going to take him out for Jimmy G, who is
There's no way.
Averaging 10 to 17, 21 maybe.
Yeah, he had some good games, but before he got out. But yes, no, absolutely don't take out Brock Purdy at this point, because like you said, he's playing with house money. He's playing loose. He's playing like a guy with nothing to lose, and he really doesn't have anything to lose, right? So fuck it.
Yep, exactly. Our next game is 2 teams, both 7-8, outside looking in on the bubble, on the fringe, just a bit outside, however you want to say it. The Jets at Seattle. Seattle and the Jets, man, 2 teams that had high hopes at one point in the season. I never understood the Seattle hype, because if you actually take a look back on their schedule, you'll see that there was really nothing to be hype about. I mean, look at it's like loss, win, win, win. I think they went like a 3-game win streak against really bad teams, and then it was just a lot of hype. I'm gonna take the Jets, and this is why.
Oh God,
Mike White returns to the fight. My bet's on the Jets. I expect some Gronk spikes with the return of Mike. This is gonna.
Oh God, my wife is gonna love that, and she's gonna recite it to me every day if they make the playoffs. And I hate you for doing that. I don't. You were right. The hype was big on both of these teams, right?
You're rhyming on accident now. You're right. The hype.
You're right. The hype. The hype was huge. And real quick, we got Jameel Bugs in here saying Seahawks plus 7.5. Jameel, real quick, I'm gonna cheers you on that one. I don't have a beer, but I got water. So you're right. The hype was huge on both of these teams. The Seahawks were going to win the West up until the 49ers decided to acquire CMC and just become this juggernaut of an NFC team. The Jets were competing with the Bills, so I could have seen the Seahawks a little bit with a better chance of making the playoffs than the Jets. I'm taking the Seahawks in this because they are at home. The Jets, looked terrible. And even I think with Mike White, that, outside of that one game that he scored like 30 points or something like that, I don't think it's been that great with Mike White either. I don't think the offense has been outstanding with him either. With Zach Wilson, it looks like straight garbage. But I mean, with Mike White, it doesn't. I mean, it looks better, but I mean by a slim margin. So I'm still taking the Seahawks in this at home. They got the 12th man. They're in Seattle. I just Geno Smith has completely fallen off. He's writing everybody back right now. So
Yeah.
the only thing they got going for them is Kenneth Walker and maybe DK Metcalf if Geno can get him the ball. But I still think I'm going with Seahawks in this one.
Look at what Bill said.
Yeah, Bill, cheers to Bill. What the hell did I just walk in on? he heard Kyle rapping and he's like, what is this? Cheers.
This is
Bill, cheers.
The Dr. Seuss version of the week 17. He said plus Jamal did I say that right? Jamil
said Seahawks plus 7.5.
Yeah, I had to look at the DraftKings. I was like, that doesn't make sense. I expected to be closer. It is. It's +2.
Okay.
I think he's just saying the Seahawks would.
He thinks they're gonna win by more than 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Minus is win. I think minus is win.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah,
so
take the points. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Bill totally
agrees.
Right on it.
7.5 is way too much. Yep.
Yeah. It's got. I expect a tight game because of all the reasons you said. 12th man, Seattle, weather, Detroit not playing that great. Like if the Jets win, I would say 3. I like that it's at 2 right now. I think it's a good time to go in on Jets -2. I think they could win by 3. But I do see this being a close game that's going to be grinded out. And the Seahawks, I mean, look, just don't touch it. Don't even
look at it.
Don't even look at it. Just leave this game alone.
Yeah.
Good. And there's another one on Monday night that I wouldn't touch, but we'll get to that. So don't freaking touch it because if the Seahawks win, because the Jets are just playing bad right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they've lost 5 in a row, 6 in a row.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a good time to be confident in the Jets, but Mike White does probably give them their best chance to win. And it was good to see him going back into the Jets, and maybe they can get some kind of momentum going, win these last 2 games. Anything's possible, right? Mike White was giving them their best shot. So our next game is my game of the week.
Boo.
And by the way, I got the Monday night game is also a game of the week, but I have to give you a different one. That's what I'm saying. I have to leave it for you. I can't be I got 2 game of the week. So the Green Bay Packers are going into Philadelphia on a Sunday night game, and they say if Jalen Hurts can beat Aaron Rodgers and knock him out of the postseason, that would be a huge win because it would essentially bring the Packers to a 4-8 record with no path back to the playoffs. Then the Packers started winning and winning and winning and stacking, and they found wide receivers like Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. They got healthy, and then they get to a point on Christmas Day where they beat the Dolphins. By the way, you got to talk about that at some point. You're not getting a pass on that. You said Dolphins. You said Dolphins, and I picked Packers, and you laughed. I'm gonna clip it and show it to you. You laughed.
Clip it. Never happened.
The Packers needing a stop in the fourth quarter. I put on this glove, and one play later, they got an interception to seal the win. I do have a magic glove right now.
Why would you do that?
I bought this at Lambeau Field.
You're an asshole.
And I'm gonna wear the glove against the Vikings. I got the Packers winning this game. I think the Vikings have not been. Well, who's a hotter team right now? The Packers didn't just. Miami tried to win. They're playing good defense. That's the difference. Packers are playing good defense. Aaron Rodgers they're going for it on 4th and down on the 32. Like they got nothing to lose. They're being bold. They're getting back to having fun. There's going to be, I went to the last game the Packers and Vikings played in Lambeau Field. I was at that game. It was -10, whatever it was. It was freezing. And the final score is 40 to 13. It was never close. It was a old-fashioned frozen tundra blowout. I'm expecting a lot of Lambeau leaps. This game, I'm not expecting to even be within 7 points. This is an upset of the week for me, just because I have the Packers giving the Vikings an old-fashioned, we're still the NFC champs, even if you are, for this year. This is going kind of against the grain, because the Vikings are going to leave Lambeau with a loss, even though they won the division. How can you win and lose at the same time? Being the Vikings on Sunday.
And Bill, we got Bill in the comments saying, I saw that part with the glove. And you didn't do anything, Bill? You didn't put a glove on and take it off to just cancel that out? Come on.
Bill might be a Packers fan.
Bill, if you're a Packers fan, God damn it. I hear you. I hear you. The only reason the Packers won is because Tua had a fucking concussion. And I stand by that. It's the only reason they won. Tua would have absolutely tore it up had he not, had been concussed for the 10th time this year. Which is a huge, by the way, like worry if you're the
family members of Tua.
If you're the family members, and if you're just the Dolphins in general, right? Like, you think you have your quarterback and he's struggling with concussions. Bill is a Giants fan for 54 years. Love it. So, oh man, we were talking mad shit about Giants. Anyway, so I've got the Vikings in this. Yeah, I've got the Vikings in this. I think they're taking it. Aaron Rodgers is similar to what we were talking about with Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers is going to win, like, prove me wrong with Aaron Rodgers, this and that. I get that, but I don't think he's found Christian Watson. He's got some weapons. Defense is not good. The Vikings have proven this year that they're winning these close games. And while that's a good thing or not, some may argue for it. Some are going to argue against it. They're going to win these games to really, really stick it to the Packers, to stick it to the whole NFC North, really, that they are the NFC North champions. Just like you said, hey, the Packers, we're the NFC North champions, even though we're not. The Vikings are going to be like, no, we're the NFC North champions. Cousins going to do enough to beat Aaron Rodgers in this game, I think. And I don't know if you forget, but Justin Jefferson, he's on the Vikings, man. He's an MVP like talent in the league right now. Anytime you need him to make a play, you just throw it to Jefferson and he makes the play. That's how it goes. So I've got the Vikings taking one in Lambeau.
Well, this is the first game of 2023. This is happening on New Year's. So it's a new year. New me, new year. So, we'll just leave 2022 in the past. It's all a new year. I really think there's something to that. So we're definitely going to be watching that game. That's a 125 game. We got rated by Grossi too many times to not be for some Packer games. So
that's true.
Packer fans, come on in. We'll kick Rick out. He's a Bears fan. He's bad. He's voodoo. He's bad energy. We don't need that.
I'm gonna have gloves just so I can take them off when you put them on.
Viking gloves. You're just gonna be wearing Viking gloves.
I'm gonna just have gloves in general to have them on, just so I can take them off for you.
Such a unique thing to go by. Do you have any Viking gloves?
Hey, at a Walmart, do you have any Vikings gloves? The NFL team? Yeah, no. Okay, cool.
All right, see ya. All right, the Rams are playing the Chargers. The Battle of Los Angeles. I don't even like typing Los Angeles Chargers. It was so much easier when I could just do an S and a D.
Yeah.
SD. Now I'm like LAS. It's weird.
Yeah.
LAC.
Yeah.
No.
LAC. Lack.
Lar. I don't like it.
Larlac.
The Chargers are. Look, Justin Herbert is a really, 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 really good quarterback, and he is winning despite injuries, despite questionable coaching, despite defense. And that's what the great ones can do. They can overcome obstacles. You think of Tua, we just talked about him. He's a system quarterback that can't overcome turbulence. When everything is going the right way, he can light it up. Justin Herbert is the opposite. No matter what scenario is in front of him, he can make the throws that only a handful can make. That's why the Chargers are in the playoffs, and the Rams are playing really interesting football after dominating the Broncos the way they did. I am actually going to take...
No.
I'm really torn on this one because Baker Mayfield and the Rams looked pretty good, but I'm going to man, my gut is like telling me to go like Rams is an upset, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with the Chargers on this
Okay.
one.
Whew. Whew.
But it's like they're at home. They play in the
No,
same
yeah.
stadium.
Yeah.
This is
That's
interesting.
true.
Two teams that play in the same stadium.
I was thinking the same thing. This is like the Jets Giants games. Like they're both at the home stadium. So
Yeah.
I'm going with the Chargers too, and I don't know why. Because this game is just disgusting when you want to just pick up a straight up winner. Because both of these teams are like, ugh, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I want to pick the Rams because that they have that Baker magic kind of going for them, or if I want to pick the Chargers because they've made the playoffs and Herbert looks good. I just this game's just like, man, they're both at home. There's no advantage on either side. But I'm just thinking with the Chargers because they are at home. I guess. I don't know. Justin Herbert's the better quarterback, obviously. They got a few more weapons than the Rams do. And yeah, there's really not much to say about this game. I'm taking the Chargers. They're already going to the playoffs.
Keenan Allen.
They did clinch. Yeah, Keenan Allen, you know, Eckler. So
he had like 11 catches for I think 106 yards.
Yeah, and the defense is playing really well. Bosa, Mack, all these guys on the defense are playing really well. So I think they're going to just stick it to Baker and the Rams this time and take the dub at home.
We'll see if
Quotes.
yeah. We'll see if Derwin James can not try to kill people in this game.
yeah, we'll see.
Derwin James, Florida State safety. I knew that was another player. It's funny when you're like a fan of a college that's not Alabama that you kind of know something about players that even prospects don't pick up because you've been watching them. Derwin James and Cam Akers are both going to be really good in this league. And if they can establish the run with Cam Akers, give me the Rams.
You're taking the Rams? You're insane.
I'm changing. I'm taking the Rams to beat the Chargers. The Chargers already clinched.
After I typed out Chargers, are you serious?
There's no pressure on the Chargers. There's nothing to play for. They already clinched. They're not going to move around. You know, what's the point, right? The Rams are at home. They just won by 50 points in that same stadium. They got good vibes. Baker Mayfield has figured out the offense, right? We just Rams to beat the Chargers. Alphavid loves it. He's a huge fan of the pick.
He's a huge fan of the pick.
He loves it. He said Rams to beat the Chargers with 4 exclamation marks. I totally agree with Alpha. So definitely. And then just so Bill knows, I was not talking shit about the Giants. All I said was the same thing you said. They're going to be one and done when they get to the playoffs. And that's why I didn't want to see them in the playoffs, because I wanted to see maybe some teams that can win a playoff game. And but I do think that the Giants, we both picked the Giants. Correct, Rick? We did both pick the Giants.
We did both pick the Giants.
They're playing the Colts. We both got them. So not throwing shade on the Giants at all. And finally, we have perhaps 2 of the most 4 important games going prime time. The Buffalo Bengals are playing the Bengals. The Buffalo Bills are playing the Bengals. And the Steelers are playing the Ravens. Why are these 2 games important? Because the Bengals are going to be at home on their couches watching this game, because the Steelers with a win makes the Bengals automatically the division winners, which means they get to host a playoff game when the wild card round starts. That goes for Jacksonville and all the other teams that you can't believe are hosting a playoff game, like Tampa Bay potentially. But regardless, the Ravens lose, Bengals host. The Ravens, to stay alive, to host the playoff game, they need a win, and they need the Bengals to lose, which almost, if you think about it, seems more likely that the Ravens win and the Bengals lose than the alternative, right? So that is a little scary for the Bengals. So how do we just eliminate all this stress? Let's just cheer for the Steelers, a division opponent, right? How weird to be sitting there cheering for the Steelers. But I think the Steelers are going to – this is going to be another just nail – like we said, the Ravens haven't scored more than 17 points in their last 4 games. They've won 3 of their last 4, only losing to Cleveland. The Steelers kind of feel like Cleveland, but you got the Ravens at home. The Steelers seem like they can do more offensively, but Tyler Huntley – you know, what do you do, man? I'm going to defer. What do you do with that? What is this game? This is like
this is like the Rams and Chargers game. This is like the Rams and Chargers game.
I think it's even harder because it's like a division matchup,
But at least the Rams and Chargers have two quarterbacks that kind of know somewhat what they're doing. The Steelers and Ravens have like Pickett and Huntley, a rookie, and the guy who's never, who the only reason he's starting is because the Lamar Jackson is out with an injury.
That's a fair point.
I don't know, man. But I think I'm taking the Steelers because of their defense too. I'm taking the Steelers because of their defense, and Pickett and Pickens really, like, they need to get this connection down. They and this is one of the games I think to do it, to really like maybe get a better shot at the playoffs, because I think they have like an outside chance to make it. I think they're still somewhat in the hunt.
Yeah, I think it's not looking good because even if they tie, I think the three teams that are ahead of them right now all would win the tiebreaker because of strength of conference. So it's like,
oh, okay. I'm
not even sure if there is a chance. I got to look into that.
Then, I don't know exactly what it is either, but I think I'm taking the Steelers just because I root for the underdog. I think, right? The Ravens are already in the playoffs. It's really just depending on whether they'll get the division win or not. But I think I'm taking. You're taking Ravens?
I think the Ravens know that the Bills might take care of business and tie the record with the Bengals.
That is the assumption too. I think around the league really is like the Bills are not going to just sit down against the Bengals. They're not going to.
And then you got week 17.
Yeah.
The Bengals and the Ravens are playing each other.
Yep. Week 18.
So
yeah, you're right.
The Ravens want to make that game meaningful. They're going to be ready to play. John Harbaugh is going to have that team juiced up and ready to go at home. It's a tough place to play at home. Great fans, great fan base. I don't like the Ravens for personal reasons, but I'll take them to win against a Steelers team that this will officially, if there is an outside chance, this will just we'll cut the umbilical cord on it. There's nothing gonna happen for the Steelers this year, unfortunately. It'll be back to the drawing board, and I don't know if they stick with Pickett or not, but that'll be discussed in the offseason. And
for sure,
I think those kinds of questions will start after Sunday night.
Yeah, tough pick, but yeah, I'm taking Steelers. You got the Ravens. Honestly, like this is going to be a good game. Sunday Night Football did a really good job flexing this game out for, I think, was it the Broncos Chiefs that they flexed out?
No, they did that earlier. They flexed out, I think, the Chargers and the Rams.
Oh, okay. So it was Chargers and Rams. Okay. So
would have liked to see the Packers Vikings personally.
Yeah, nah. I'd rather Steelers Ravens. This seems like a better matchup right now.
Stupid.
I'll take Steelers.
You got Steelers. I got Ravens. Let us know in the comments who you guys got. And with that, we'll move on to the game of the week. Not mine, not Rick's, but I think the entire world agrees on this. Your final.
No, this is my game of the week.
Yeah, your preview of the AFC Conference Championship. Potentially, we only think there's one other team that might be in it, Kansas City. But this is no doubt an opportunity for us. This is a sneak peek. This is a trailer. This is the beta version. We're going to see, this is the pilot episode of a new season. Can the Bengals win this game against the Buffalo Bills, who are back to playing really good football after a tiny little speed bump? You have to have those. Every Super Bowl team does, if you look at it historically. And if you don't have those, you end up like the Patriots and having your first in the Super Bowl. I like the Bengals a lot. I'm really high on them, but I think these are two teams that know what's at stake here. Man, I'm gonna take the Bills.
All right.
I literally was still thinking. I mean, this is one of those games where you're like, I don't know what to do with that. I mean, Bills, Bengals.
Yeah. This is one of those games where you're like, what do I do with this too? But on the opposite side of the Rams, Chargers, Steelers, Ravens, where you're just like looking at those games and you're just like, I don't know what to pick. Like, do I have to pick? Yes, you have to pick. This one is like Burrow, Allen, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs. You got, you know what I mean? Like, you've got these two really good teams, and you're like, man, who do I pick? This is gonna be a tough one. And even Alpha is like, I need the Bengals to go crazy. I'm taking my chances starting Burrow over Fields. I'm taking the Bills in this one too, man. It's my game of the week, Monday Night Football, Bills at Bengals. This is going to be a very, very good game to watch. That's my prediction. I think it's going to go down to like a last second field goal, last second touchdown drive, something like that for the Bills. And I don't want to say it's going to be a shootout, but I think it's going to be in the high 30s.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be in the high 30s.
I agree with that. And I also think the Bengals, I mean, they're going to, obviously they want to win this game because of, the measuring stick game this is, but the Bengals have been probably the most disrespected team in the NFL this entire season. They started, I think, 1-3, or man, they couldn't win for like 3 weeks and everyone was like down on them. And then they've only lost one game since then. So the Bengals go to the Super Bowl, and then we go into the offseason, and the odds for them to even make it to the Super Bowl are like 9, 8, 10. And then nobody respected what they did last year. But Joe Burrow is, as Stephen A would say, a bad man. Mm-hmm. He is a very, very bad man. He's a winner, and that's all he does. And there was no reason with the best receiving core group in the NFL and that quarterback. Now, they did lose their left guard for the season, and there are some whispers that maybe the guy from the Rams who retired, Whitmore, maybe he comes out of retirement to try to win a Super Bowl with the team he just beat. We'll keep you up on that story. That's insane.
That would be insane.
The Bengals have been, for the majority, I would say, they've been pretty disrespected until now. Now everyone's like, oh, okay, the Bengals are serious. It's like, dude, why would you ever believe that they weren't? They went to the Super Bowl despite the O-line, and they, improved it and went into this league. So this is a game the Bengals want to remind everybody again who they are. And if the Bengals win, I think a lot of people would be happy with that. I'm sticking with the Bills.
Okay. All right. I was scared for a second.
I'm sticking with the Bills. But yeah, this is going to be a really close game. And if the Bengals win, no one's going to be like, how? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you got Bill here saying, I want both teams to win.
That's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel.
Alpha's going to disagree with us, actually. He's saying Josh Allen is going to choke, calling it right now. Everything is rolling for the Bengals. Offense, defense, many wins in a row. Like you said, though, the Bengals aren't going to just take this game lightly either. They're going to try to go and win this game like convincingly. But I think the Bills got it, man. I think the Bills
Buffalo hasn't lost since they played the Vikings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they only lost that because they fumbled the kneel down. They were trying to do a QB
I remember that. Yeah.
So that
was insane.
You could make an argument that Buffalo's just as hot as the Bengals. But like you said about Mahomes, people get bored of success and they move on to the newest, hottest team.
Exactly.
And that, I think Buffalo will be ready for this one. So those were our Week 17 predictions. Thank you guys for being in the comments and letting us know whether you agree or think we're crazy, because I think I was the one that got like 9 crazies. I think you got all agreements. Congrats on another solid week with winning over the fans.
That's what I do. I do it for the fans. I do it for everyone who's in the comments and following us.
Yeah, he's literally just catering his predictions to what you guys like.
None of what I say is actually what I believe.
So what segment are we going to do now? We got some really fun segments coming up. So I'll let you put it up.
All right. Our next segment is called Perfect Gift, and it is brought to you by Star 6 Media here at Only Football. Like, subscribe, share, everything. Do all that with your friends. Obviously, you could see our Twitter at the top, and you've got all of our socials here at the bottom. So you guys could do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share all the good stuff here at Star 6 Media and Only Football. But our next one, Perfect Gift. Kyle and I are going to name 3 players, 3 coaches, 3 fan bases, 3 teams. And we're going to basically be like, all right, what would be the perfect gift for that person? And yeah, this kind of goes in line with Christmas, so the holidays that just happened. So hopefully you guys all had great holidays, which, by the way, I just want to give a quick shout out before we get into perfect gift to Kyle. If everybody wants to give a round of applause to Kyle for putting in the work on live streams, on episodes, with his with one of his buddies. What was your buddy's name? The Rams fan again?
Oh, Temple.
Him and Temple, man, were killing it, and honestly picking up the slack for me while I was, hosting family. So I want to give a huge shout out to Kyle doing that with all the streams, all the solo streams, and all the good work he's done. So just
Thanks,
clap
buddy.
it up. I'm going to clap it up. If you're listening on the podcast, clap it up right now for Kyle. Look how embarrassed he is. He's like, I don't want the praise, but you are. So huge.
Thanks, buddy.
Huge thanks to Kyle. But let's move on to perfect gift. Kyle, do you want to start or do you want me to start? And do you want to go 1 for 1? Are we going 1 for 1?
Yeah, we'll go 1 for 1. I'm going to start it.
Yeah.
My perfect gift would be you. Oh, that's not what we're doing. I forgot.
I'm gonna do like the elf, what he did in Elf, the gift for that perfect gift for that special somebody. I'm gonna get you lingerie.
Well, look up for that short. That'll be coming out soon. So my perfect gift, first player, Rick, what would be the perfect gift for Justin Fields this year?
Oh God. Okay. So perfect gift for Justin Fields. This is easy. I'm a Bears fan, so this is easy. Wide receivers and an offensive line. Now, if I had to pick one, I would go with the offensive line because I want him to stop getting sacked. So if you had to say perfect gift, singular, offensive line, 100%. I want that entire offensive line to be nothing but Tevin Jenkins. Bunch of guys who are in their second year, and doing really well. That's what I want. I want him to be protected. I want him to stop getting sacked. I want him to have enough time back there in the pocket because he can't keep this rushing quarterback thing forever for his entire career. We saw what happened to Cam Newton, right? So that's what I want for him. I want him to be able to progress as a passer, and I want him to have a really, really great offensive line. Secondary guess would be wide receivers, but offensive line first.
I'll give you a pass because technically an offensive line would be multiple people.
Oh my God.
Wrapped in one.
Oh my God.
What do you want more though? Just for the sake of it, like a center. If you had to pick one piece on the line,
I will go left guard. Left guard.
Left guard. All right. So
guard.
Rick wants a left guard.
Yep. Left guard.
I'm gonna send a letter to the Bears saying, "Big fan. All he wants for Christmas is a left guard."
Look, don't be assholes, right? All right. My perfect gift question for you, Kyler Murray. What would be Kyler Murray's perfect gift?
Ooh. Kyler Murray's perfect gift would be
we got
it would be Madden 2023, so he could stop playing Call of Duty and at least be practicing some plays. You know what I mean? Like if he's gonna have a video game addiction, we need it to be Madden.
I love it. And the comments in here are amazing. We had Alpha going, a new fucking coach. And then we had Bill, 5 inches.
Yeah, dude, he's got such a small
whoa!
height.
Yeah, okay, there we go. I like
Short
that. I like that. We need him to stop using guns and instead using more shotgun is what we need.
Okay.
Yeah, you like that?
More shotguns, less guns. Cancel Call of Duty for Kyler Murray.
For Kyler.
All right. This is you could go many ways with this. Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua. Perfect gift for Tua would be, man, that's a good one. Damn, I almost want to say an offensive line too because he keeps just getting concussions. I would say the perfect gift for Tua.
We didn't rehearse this. You guys have to understand that.
Yeah, well, this is
to
all
keep it authentic.
Yeah,
Keep it
we'll try to
authentic.
get. Yeah, exactly. Damn, that's a good one. I was gonna say maybe like I don't know, a bigger, a softened helmet. I like a helmet for his
Oh
helmet.
no.
Like 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 a helmet for his helmet. I think would be best. This guy keeps getting concussions. Like you know what I mean? Like this is. He needs a helmet for his helmet. That's what Tua needs is a helmet for his helmet.
That is that's fair. That's fair.
You like it? Yeah, I
Man.
mean, it's good, right? Okay. Right. What would be the perfect gift for Justin Herbert of the Chargers?
All right. The perfect gift for Justin Herbert. I got it. I took a picture. Here. I have this picture. Don't judge me. The perfect gift for Justin Herbert would be an HGH kit because this man has not hit puberty. I don't care what you say.
He looks like every Pee Wee football quarterback that has ever played Pee Wee football.
Some HGH injections in the
God.
stocking for Justin Herbie.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That was good. That was good. I like that. I like that. All right.
All right.
Who do I have next?
You have Lovie Smith.
I had Lovie Smith for you.
Okay. Brock Purdy.
The perfect gift for Brock Purdy. Woof. Honestly, a multi-million-dollar contract. That's what he needs. I mean, he's been playing really well for the Mr. Irrelevant. He's getting the 49ers scoring 50 points. He's got them going. He's got them winning the NFC West. I think a multi-million-dollar contract for Brock Purdy would be the perfect gift for him.
Do you think if he wins the Super Bowl this year, he gets a multi-million-dollar contract, or he's going to have to like prove it again next year?
They're going to keep him on the rookie deal, and him being the very last pick, he's making like, what's the minimum? Like $500,000 in a year or something like that.
A lot.
Yeah. What like 30 times my regular yearly pay, but yeah, I don't think he gets. I don't think he gets a multi-million for winning the Super Bowl, though.
Okay. I just think that's crazy that we both hit Lovie Smith. I think it's because you were a Bears fan, so I was like, oh, yeah. Lovie Smith. All right, so that is right. That is your final one.
Yep. So what is a perfect gift for Lovie Smith, Kyle?
Let's see. Perfect gift for the perfect gift for Lovie Smith is going to be a multi-million-dollar contract given to his agent.
To his
agent.
Why is that?
Because Lovie Smith went 17-39 at Illinois. He came back as defensive coordinator and led the Texans defense to 27th and 31st place. And now he became a head coach. Whoever his agent is deserves a bonus. How do you promote that? You go to Illinois, you're 17 and almost 40. Like, and then you have the 31st and 30th ranked defense for 2 years. And they're like, it reminds me of Ted when he's like, you know what I have? Your wife's on my breath. And then he's like, that took guts. We need guts.
We need guts. Yeah. He's like, shit. I honestly, his agent is keeping him a rich man. And yes, you're 100% correct. He needs that. And a lot of the guys in here too, Alpha, saying all Smith needs is a new career because he sure as hell can't coach.
He had the Bears 10-6 when he got fired. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think he's past his prime for the NFL, but who knows? A better team with the Texans. He's already got a running back. He needs a better defense, and he needs a quarterback.
Who knows what'll happen for college?
Clearly. Yeah, that okay. I would agree with that.
But kudos for me. Kudos to that agent out there keeping.
100%. I need that guy.
Your last guy. No. You got it. I got Justin Fields, Tua, and Purdy.
Oh yeah. That was my last one. Okay. All right. Well, that was perfect. Oh, I forgot even to put up the banner for it. Dang. I still had NFL Week 17 predictions. All right. Well, that's
Throw
fine.
tomatoes
That's fine.
at him.
Let's move. Let's move into our next segment, one that you guys have seen before. We started back in Thanksgiving time. Blessed, text, or stressed. Again, brought to you by Star Six Media. Please like, subscribe, and share what you're seeing here on Only Football and all our other shows on Star Six Media. All right, Kyle. Blessed, text, or stressed. You are Kevin O'Connell, the head coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Blessed, text, or stressed. Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson. Go.
Ooh. Kirk Cousins. Wow. That's a good one.
Right?
That's
right?
a good one. Okay. Blessed to have Justin Jefferson. I mean, he's about to break the all-time receiving yards in a season record. So you got to be blessed to have him. I got to say that this is hard. You got to text Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And I guess Kirk stresses you out because you may be wondering if you have a higher ceiling with someone better than him.
Yeah, I agree. And really, I mean, Dalvin Cook can be a stress because you're like, man, do I have to pay this guy now? I think they did extend him, but it's like, oh shit, do I extend this running back? Like, are you stressed about that? But no, Kirk Cousins is definitely the stress part. Can you be a better team, a more confident team in your abilities to win games with a better quarterback or what? Right. So I agree. Alpha's in the comments. He's saying agreed as well. So he agrees with you. All right. What about for me? What do I got?
All right. You're the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Nice. I'm a millionaire.
You have Mike Tomlin.
Okay.
Najee Harris.
Okay.
And TJ Watt.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Good one. TJ Watt, Najee Harris, and who else?
And TJ Watt, Najee Harris, and Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin. Damn. Okay, so I'm going to be blessed to have TJ Watt, although he does get injured. I will say he does get injured. We just signed him to an extension as an owner, right? But I'm blessed to have TJ. Stressed about Tomlin because it's like, all right, his first losing season, we don't really fire coaches, but this worries me, right? But I am stressed about Najee because he regressed from last year. He has regressed a lot from last year. And who knows, right? Who knows how running backs work out? Usually you pick a running back and you're like, this guy's going to be solid. Najee in his second year is not, usually you look for improvement. I'm stressed about Najee's, production from here on out because running backs are a dime a dozen. Running backs are a dime a dozen though, right? Like you spend the first round pick on them, but you never know. So I am blessed to have TJ, texting Tomlin, and I'm stressed about Najee.
Stressed about Najee.
Yeah.
Seems a little premature to me.
I think sure, but I mean, what you're giving the quarterback
list.
This year? I mean, the NFL in this day and age, you're giving a quarterback 2 years on whether or not he's going to be a franchise quarterback or not. So why not give running backs that same 2-year gap or 2-year timeline, right?
Looks like I think you got someone agreeing with you in the comments. That's
Bill,
how you know you're right.
Bill is saying, but TJ is blessed. Alpha blessed for TJ. Texting Mike. Yep. Stressed about Najee being a bust. Exactly. I'm saying,
there
right?
You go. There you go. I still got hope, Najee. If you're listening to this, I still got hope. I think you're a bad man. All right. Your go.
All right, Kyle. You are a Ravens fan. Blessed, text, or stressed? Plus, text, or stressed? Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh, or the Ravens defense?
Ooh, Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh, or
And
the Ravens defense.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to use it in a different way. I'm stressed about the defense. Now, the defense is the only reason they've won the last 4 games.
Yeah.
I'm stressed that they're at a boiling point and they're about to start tipping over, right?
Yep.
You can only hold them for so long, and we learned that last week in the Denver Rams game. Eventually, you need to put points. I'm stressed because we may be getting to that point.
Yep.
I'm going to text John Harbaugh.
Ooh.
And Lamar Jackson. I'm going to say blessed because we've seen what this team looks like without him, and they look a lot worse without Lamar Jackson. So
scoring 17 and below.
Same head coach.
Yeah.
What's the variable? Lamar Jackson. That's who you're blessed to have. The guy that actually changes the outcome of the games. Exactly. So I'm going to go Jackson, bless, Harbaugh, text, and that defense. I'm stressed.
That's right. That's right. I would agree. The defense, like you said, has been winning games, especially with Tyler Huntley in and Lamar Jackson out, but they're still on the stress part because they're still not great as we've seen Raven defenses in the past. So yeah, I agree. All right. What's my last one?
All right. Your last one. You are the owner of the Chiefs.
No.
Andy Reid.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
And Travis Kelce.
Oh my God. You're insane. You are literally an insane person.
I know.
Jesus Christ. Oh man. And if you're in the comments, I mean, give me your ideas, what they are. when I gave you the Ravens one, Alf was like all stress. Oh my God. So you said Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. I am blessed to have, I'm just going to say, I'm blessed to have Patrick Mahomes. I've got a quarterback for the next decade who is going to be a Hall of Famer. Absolutely blessed to have that. But you also have Andy Reid, who's going to be a Hall of Fame coach one day. And him paired up with Mahomes is great. I think I'm texting Andy Reid, blessed to have Mahomes, and stressed about Kelce because Kelsey's getting a little old there. I don't know. You might not have him there. So the only reason I'm stressed about Kelce, and this is kind of something I'm looking at outside of Pacheco and outside of McKinnon, is that he's the only option for Mahomes right now at this point, right? Juju is out. McKinnon has good games, has bad games. Pacheco has good games, has bad games. So he's not very consistent, right? And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is just a foregone thought. I'm just stressed about Kelce because Alpha said it right there, leading the league in drops, but that's probably because he gets a ton of targets.
Yeah.
So I'm stressed about him. He's getting old. He's the only option. Without him, I can't even really make a statement about Kelce. Other than he's the only option, and Mahomes and Andy Reid are great. That's the only reason I'm stressed about him. He's getting a little older, and he's the only option. So who knows what happens, right?
I would have went with blessed to have Mahomes, stressed to have Reid, because I would be worried that maybe his success is only a result of Mahomes. I know it sounds crazy, but you have to find a way.
You got to find a way. Yeah.
You got to find a way. That's what makes it good. Bill said that's not fair, but here's the thing. If I did Antonio Brown, you know, Mike Tomlin and Najee Harris, you'd be like, I'm stressed to have, Antonio Brown. We got to make it hard. We got to make it hard.
Yeah.
Super, super Brock hard. So let's go on to our playoff scenarios, because as a people, as a group, as a unit, Only Football wants to make sure you guys are always prepared going into the season, knowing everything, going into the week, knowing everything you need to know. So we're going to do our week 17 playoff clinching scenarios that I have written down right here. And Rick, you want to do the AFC or do you want me to just ramble through it really quick?
Ramble through it, and I will put in my 2 cents where I can.
Okay, so let's start with the easy stuff. These are teams that have clinched but have not yet determined where they're going to be seated. We have Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and the Chargers. All clinched a playoff berth. Only Buffalo and Kansas City have clinched their division. So we know those are at least going to be in the top 4, while Cincinnati, Baltimore, and LA could all be wild card spots. So Buffalo, with a win, they would be the first round bye. They clinch home field advantage and AFC's lone first round bye with a win plus a Kansas City loss. So Buffalo cheering for Bronco fans. And that's funny because Alpha, I believe, is a Buffalo and Kansas City fan. And the only way for Buffalo to win.
Wasn't that JST? I thought it was JST.
Oh, that's JST. That's JST. Yeah. But interesting for JST. Cincinnati clinches the AFC North. They would clinch their division with a win and a Baltimore loss or a tie and a Baltimore loss. Cincinnati can't lose because if they lose and Baltimore loses, it's all still available for Baltimore. They need a win and a Baltimore loss. So we'll have those answers Sunday night. And we have Miami Dolphins, 8-7 at New England. Miami clinches a playoff berth with a Miami win plus a Jets loss or a Miami tie plus a Jets loss and a Pittsburgh loss. So ties, not very likely to happen. So let's just say Miami win, Jets loss. Jets are playing Seattle. So should Seattle win at home and Miami take care of business against New England, Miami will clinch the final playoff spot available. What do you think?
I can see that. I can see Miami getting it. Like I think I had them winning, right, against the Patriots.
Yeah.
No, I did. Yep, I'm looking at the thing now. I'm seeing that. I can see that. And I'm looking at the picture right now for the AFC. There's technically one spot left, like you said. It's going to go to the Jaguars are going to be the AFC South winners, and the Dolphins. Bill
wanted us to skip over it.
Yeah, I know. I saw that comment. He's like, I don't even really care. I got the Dolphins, man. I'm taking the Dolphins in this one. Like you said, I can see that happening. I can see the Dolphins getting that last, what is that, the 7th seed for the playoffs? Absolutely.
It would be interesting, though, if the Jets win, right? Because then
I hope not. No.
I kind of do because I don't like when they all clinch in week 17. I like when week 18 has like week, playoff implications. Like if everyone clinches this week, next week is nothing. It's just all
Kyle is like the Joker in the Dark Knight. He just wants to see madness. He just wants to see the world
burn. No, I just want to see a good game.
I root for the game.
But yeah, the AFC South, just real quick, that'll be Jacksonville at home against Tennessee, week 18. That will be your playoff game to push whatever team wins that game. As bad as it sounds, they will have a home playoff game hosting either maybe the Dolphins, the Chargers, or the Ravens potentially. They would have to travel with a better record to Jacksonville. And I don't know. Jacksonville's interesting. I don't know. Jacksonville at home. I don't know. That's where they beat Dallas. That's all I'm going to say about that. NFC clinched. Philly clinched playoff berth. Has not clinched their division, believe it or not. Minnesota clinched the North. San Francisco clinched the West a couple weeks ago. And Dallas clinched a playoff berth. So Philadelphia, to clinch the NFC East title, they need a win or a Dallas loss. We just saw that game. It didn't happen. Philly wins, though. They clinch their division, and they clinch a number 1 seed with home field advantage with that win. So they don't have to worry about Dallas loss scenario. That's not going to happen. Philly wins. They win their division, and the whole playoffs run through Philly. We said it already, so there is the scenario for Philly. Tampa Bay clinches NFC South division with a Tampa Bay win. They win. They're in. That's a playoff game this week. New York Giants for Bill. New York Giants clinch a playoff berth with market 7+ playoff clinching scenarios. We'll start with the easiest one. The Giants win, right? There's 3 of them that have them tying. I'm not going to go over those. Or if the Giants don't win and they lose, they would need Seattle to lose and Washington to lose, or Seattle, Detroit, and Green Bay to lose, or just Washington, Detroit, and Green Bay. It sounds confusing. Just look at all those teams with the same record. They need all of them to lose, and then it doesn't matter. The Commanders clinch a playoff berth, and this is the final clinching scenario for this week with a win, a Seattle loss, Detroit loss, and a Green Bay loss. So Washington needing a lot of things to happen, but we saw 3 of these teams lose, 3 NFC teams lose last week. So it could happen this week. Seattle lost last week, Detroit and the Giants all lost. So I believe, Detroit playing the Bears. Don't think it's going to happen. But if you're a Packer fan, you're hoping for the Magic Glove in a Washington loss.
Take it off. Don't you dare put it on. Don't you motherfucker.
Do you really do you have the Commanders taking that final spot? Russell Wilson is really good.
Yeah, I was looking at the chat. God, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I would like the Commanders, but I think the Lions beating the Bears are going to take it. I have Washington beating the Browns, obviously, because of their defense. And I have the Lions beating the Bears. But, God, I don't know, man. It's because there's so much that has to happen, and I'm looking at the picture right now. Here's the thing. I don't really care if Washington or the Lions take it. I want one of those two to take it. And like Alpha said, I don't have faith in Carson Wentz. Neither do I.
No one does.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. I don't think the Washington. I don't think Rivera does either.
No.
But I'm hoping for the Lions. That's what I'll say. I'm hoping for the Lions, but I don't really care if the Washington Commanders go either, because Bill's gonna hate me for it. But I don't want to see the Giants in the playoffs. I really don't. I just, and they're gonna beat the Colts, like he's saying, right? The G-men will not lose against Jeff Saturday's team. But yeah, I don't know. The Giants are going to the playoffs, I think, dude.
The Giants are going to the playoffs, and that is that. And I agree. I mean, whenever you see 7 playoff clinching scenarios, we had a team last week that had 7, and that's why Baltimore clinched, because it was Baltimore.
Yep.
When you have that many scenarios, usually one of them happens. So.
You need all that to happen, or one of those will happen, or whatever it is, and it just happens. So Washington, the Commanders, or the Lions are going to the playoffs. One of those two teams, and along with the Giants,
Packers.
Or no, not the Packers, not the Packers. I don't care. I'm gonna take that glove. I'm gonna take that glove and just burn it. I'm gonna burn that glove.
You have to tell the people that it's possible, though. Like that's literally your job. You have to tell them it's possible.
I know. I'm going Lions. I'm going Lions. If I have to pick one, I'm going Lions.
Lions. I would rather see the Lions than the Commanders. And I'm sure Bill too, because he's a Giants fan.
Commanders can suck it, hoping for the Lions.
There we go.
There you go. That was pretty easy.
I didn't even see that until that. So that is our week 17. I guess not ours, but the NFL's week 17 clinching scenarios. Hope we were able to make it all pretty clear. If not, you can always rewind it, because you might need to hear it again on Sunday when you're looking at the scores. So that is, I'm sure the NFL will be on top of it, but that is what we want to happen, and what will happen is to be determined, just like Week 18's games. So that's all we got. Do you got anything else, Rick?
No, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone in the comments today, not only on our episode now, but also in the live stream for Thursday Night Football. So Steve, Tyler, Robert, Jamil, Bill, we had Alpha in here. We had JST in here earlier. We had Jinja, my boy Jinja. I had those IPAs for you. And we also had some newcomers. I think Tyler was also one of them. Tyler was kind of new. I haven't seen him unless you have. Maxi on mute.
Yeah. Tyler's been in. He came
Maxi
from
on mute. I feel like is
Rossi.
new.
Yeah,
So
there's some new, our second Grassy raid. They are awesome.
love it. I love it. And huge props to Tom Grassi for rating us for a second time and bringing all you guys, all the newcomers to Only Football and to Star Six Media. We really appreciate you guys in the comments subbing. Help us get to 100 followers. We're almost there. I think we're 4 away from 100. It would just mean a lot to us if you guys would like it, share it, our content if you love it. So, I just want to give a huge shout out to you guys making this all possible. For Kyle and I, just being super inspired by all the subs and all the comments, all the I think Robert gave us like a really, really great compliment in our Thursday night football live stream where he's like, you guys are great commentators. He's like better than the ones on the NFL game. So that's a huge compliment to us and we appreciate it. So so we just want to give a huge shout out to you guys and, just say again that we appreciate it. And this new year going to be bringing a lot more stuff to Only Football. And, again, I just wanted to give shout out to you guys for doing that for us, but I got nothing else, Kyle, unless you got something else.
No, just wanted to shout out Bill really quick. And that I totally, that's why I love this channel, is because we are a family. We respond to you guys. We're always looking in there. And that was actually one of our selling points. I was like, hey, come over here. We'll respond to your comments. You know what I mean?
We'll actually talk to you guys.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys and you'll have a home. Follow me on Twitter at FTBL Only Podcast. And you can see my retweets. I just learned how to tweet, believe it or not, when I started this season and we started this podcast. It was necessary as the wind slams the door closed. Please follow me. I'll follow you back. We'll share our funny football memes and be kind to the earth. That's my new slogan. I like it. It's made out of cork. Rick, where can they follow you?
You can follow me at @andnowrick on Twitter. I usually like to live tweet Bears games if I'm not live streaming Bears games. So you guys will definitely see me either crying or kind of happy, because I feel like that's kind of what the Bears season is this year. Either crying or just kind of happy that they're doing really well on offense. But if you want to follow the rest of our shows on Star Six Media, you can follow down there in the ticker at Star Six Media on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Facebook, and at _Star Six Media on Twitter. So I'm gonna actually fix that up top to include our Twitter handle for Star Six Media. But yes, Steve, real quick, gonna give you guys a suggestion for a skit on your channel. Yes, absolutely. Put it in the comments and I will read it. And if you can make it quick before we get out of here. But yes, follow us all on all those social media, and then listen to this episode plus other episodes on wherever you listen to podcasts, because we take all these live streams, turn them into podcasts. So, if you miss the live stream, you could always catch it on either Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, all podcast platforms you can find this on. But yeah, just follow us there for sure. Let's see what Steve has to say here. It would be cool to see you guys react to some highlights of older players you are not familiar with. Ooh, I kind of like that.
Okay.
Kind of like that suggestion.
What kind of react? Like watching an old highlight film?
I'm assuming like watching like just like play, like you said, players we're not familiar with, like 80s, early 90s, late 90s type of guys, where we see like old highlights, right? Like, oh, that guy would have been totally kicked out of this game for that kind of.
YouTube has like the past like 40 Super Bowls like for free live. It would be cool if we like the day before the Super Bowl or something, we watched like we drew a number out of a hat of a Super Bowl between like the 90s and the 70s, and we sat down and like live streamed, like 1973 Super Bowl.
I am totally down to do that, Steve. Thank you for the suggestion, but we will definitely try to get that in the works. Maybe for the off season, maybe some for the off season where it's a little bit slower. The NFL is never slow except for maybe like 4 days out of the year. But we will definitely keep that in mind, Steve. Thanks for the suggestion, dude. But all right, Kyle, you got anything else before we get out of here?
Nope, that's all I got. Hope that you guys enjoy watching football and definitely tune in to watch some ball this week and see who clinches.
All right. Love it. All right, Kyle. See ya.
See ya.